Hey guys, if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for a link to my Amazon store where I've compiled some of the very best items available, including some of my own personal recommendations. Thanks! What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I'm going to be talking about my opinion on the top 10 knives that you can buy that are under $150. So it's specifically between $100 and $150. Every weekend here for the last few weeks, I've been doing these top 10 videos in certain price ranges. I started at about 300 and we've worked our way down to under 150 today. Keep in mind, this is 100% based on my own opinion. It is also, for the most part, based on knives that I have actually reviewed, or at least variants of some of these knives that I've actually reviewed and can come to, use deductive reasoning to conclude on some of these. This video was recorded on Wednesday, so for those of you watching it the day that it came up, this is about 4 days before, when you're seeing it. And every knife that is on this list is, as of right now, officially available. There's a couple that are thrown in that are pre-orders stacked on top of some of the other main ones on the list, but they are available. So if we get to Saturday and some of them become unavailable, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about here in a moment. At the time of the recording, they were available. I double and triple checked it. So that's the criteria. But again, this is just my opinion. If one of the knives that you think is really, really great is not on the list, I'm sorry. This is just based on what I think. I did what I usually do and tried to go around to a lot of the major retailers. Whether or not I have an affiliate link for it is, irrelevant. Some of the knives on the list I don't have affiliate links for, but I will still include links for every single one of these knives so you can check them out, whether they benefit my channel or not. Thank you so much to my generous patrons who are supporting me right now. If you'd like to check out my Patreon, there's a link down in the description. All right, let's start off here with number one. This is the Doug Ritter and Hogue RSK MK1 G2 Mini. Essentially, this is a mini Griptilian that is in M390 and G10. They come in at $139, and they are a KnifeWorks exclusive item, so you'll have to go to KnifeWorks to pick this up. Like I said, there's a link down below if you want to just click that. These are incredible knives. Some of the best value U.S. production knives that are out there. I own the large one. The mini one, truthfully, is going to be a little bit small for my hands, but I know a lot of people don't really care if they get a full purchase on it or not. This is a nice, strong, easy to manipulate design that just fits really, really well in the pocket. It's just an absolute winner. They come in orange and black, so if you don't like the orange, you can go with black, but blade profile is amazing. The manipulation of the lock is amazing. It feels a little better than a Benchmade Griptilian, in my opinion. In fact, all the way around, the polishing on this knife is just better than the Benchmade Griptilian, and it's worth the extra money, versus the standard mini grip. Moving on here, of course, the Spyderco Manix 2G10, one of my all-time favorite knives. S30V G10, made in the United States. These come in at about 120 bucks, and again, it's one of the best value American production knives that are out there. There's a lot of American production knives on this list. That's my home country. I'm going to opt to, pay for knives that are manufactured in the United States when I have the option, and this is a really, really good choice. Everybody kind of knows about the Manix 2 by now. I've brought this up in many top 10 lists. That ball bearing lock is amazing. I wish that the switch, the actuation switch, wasn't plastic. You can buy the titanium cage now if you want to for an extra 40 bucks. But truthfully, all the Manix 2 models that I've had, the lock switch has never been a problem. I know the old ones, they use a different type of plastic, and people were reporting that the pegs would break or something like that. These the most recent versions of these with the black switches, not the clear switches, these seem to hold up really, really well. Excellent cutting geometry, excellent ergonomics. This thing is a win all the way around. A little bit of a bigger knife. If you don't like a bigger knife, these come in, I believe the liners are unmilled on the standard versions. Some versions of the G10 models have milled liners. I think the unmilled ones come in at 5 ounces, but in my opinion, it's well worth it. If you don't like the heavyweight one, I'll throw this one in here too. It's not its own number. I'll throw it in with the Manix. This is the Manix 2 lightweight. I don't personally like FRN, but man, the Manix 2 build is so good. It's hard not to include this one. S110V, and these come in at about $140, I believe. Yeah, $143, something like that. S110V, this is one of those knives where it really just makes sense, and it's lightweight. I think these come in at like 3.5 ounces. I don't have a picture of it, but I'll include another one that's coming soon. The Manix 2 lightweight in Spy 27 coming in at about $140. I'll include a link for a pre-order right now. Depending on when you're watching this, it's either available or it's available for pre-order on different retailers. But I'll include a link where you can at least go look at it and get on the mailing list if you want to. Moving on here, of course, the Spyderco Para 3 G10. The lightweight version, the standard lightweight version of this knife actually comes in under 100, so the standard lightweight's not on this list, but the Para 3 G10 is one of my all-time favorite knives ever. I just wish the pocket clip was in a different position. In my opinion, you almost have to, well, you don't have to, but I always buy a MXG deep carry clip for a lot of my Spyderco knives because they're just better all the way around. But this design is just excellent. It comes in at 140 bucks. Not the best priced US Spyderco out there, but man, this is such a good knife. I'm also going to include a picture of the new Spy 27 lightweight Para 3 that's going to come in also at $140, and I think these are available for pre-order, and in some places they might actually be available. I'm not really sure, but again, I'll include a link so you can go check it out if you want to get on the mailing list for it. Moving on here, of course, the Mini Griptilian. Look, it's not the RSK MK1 G2, so what's the incentive to buy these still? Well, they come in at S30V at base, which, you know, it's not M390, but S30V is a little bit tougher, and it is a little bit easier to sharpen. Those are qualities that some people appreciate over M390. The biggest thing with these is that they come in at about $100, like 102, and you can still, the biggest draw for me is the massive secondary market, you know, in terms of like custom parts. These are so customizable. The custom parts for a Mini Griptilian will not fit. You know, I mean, there's differences between the scale fittings, right? Between the RSK MK1 G2 and the Benchmade Griptilian. I'm also including the large one in here too. I've got a picture of it. Yeah, you can customize these. The large one comes in at like 120. Small one comes in at about 102. Customization, if you're big into that, you know, these are an amazing platform, and you have so many options for customization. I don't like FRN, right? And yeah, if you customize it, it's going to go over that $150 mark most likely, but it's still worth including on the list. Even if you're not going to customize it, these are still really, really good knives, and I have to include them. Moving on here, this is kind of a weird one. This is the Kizer Ning shoal. This is the 3-inch variant. It's a smaller knife. This is titanium and S35VN in an excellent profile. Excellent. I mean, the fit and finish on Kizer knives is amazing. I reviewed the large Ning shoal, and I was like, holy cow. You know, like not forever, but here recently I've been looking at like Tucson knives, and it's like, god dang, they're making titanium and S35VN or M390 for between 130 and 160. That's amazing. Who can compete with them? Kizer actually can compete with them. They do have a bunch of knives between the $100 and $150 mark that are titanium and S35VN. This is definitely, I think, the best one out there for the Kizer line. But yeah, I mean, what a deal. Seriously, in these materials for $135-ish. Oh my gosh. I know a lot of people, I mean, this kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people, or it's kind of a, you know, a knife that a lot of people either don't care about or are not aware exists. But yeah, if you didn't know this exists, check it out. Seriously, link down below. Moving on here, another knife that a lot of people didn't really care too much about, but I was really impressed with this. This is the H&K or Heckler & Koch. Is it Koch or Cook? I'm not really sure. Anyways, the Exemplar. This is G10 and 154cm, and a lot of people hear 154cm and they're like, that's a budget. It's 154cm is not a budget steel. 154cm and CPM 154 are my favorite user steels of all time. Yes, even over the exotic powder form steels. Listen, when it comes down to use, resharpening it, you know, just toughness in the edge and, you know, all the stability, the corrosion resistance, this is one of the most well-rounded steels out there, and it is exemplified. Tried to make a joke out of the Exemplar name, but it just didn't come to my mind. G10, and you have some sort of grippy texturing laid on top of it. Excellent ergonomics. It's kind of a medium-sized knife. It's not quite 8 inches. I think it's about 7.5. Nice harpoon blade, nice jimping positioning, and you have that axis lock that Hogue is now using. And they're actually, I think it's Hogue in collaboration with H&K. This is a really, really good knife that just didn't take off. And I gave it a really positive review, and it just seemed to fly under the radar. So I'm including it on this list. Truthfully, I think this is an amazing knife. Moving on here, this is a Spy 27 variant of a Spyderco that at the time of this recording you could actually buy. The reason I'm emphasizing that is because I know Spy 27 is like the new, like crazy cool thing, and it's supposed to be similar to S35VN in performance. It's undoubtedly going to be a really popular steel. So the Native 5 has always seemed a little bit overpriced to me in the G10 variant, and I don't like FRN, but this is a weird scenario where we've got a knife that I really do like the overall profile, the ergonomic lines, the idea of, the lightweight, carry profile, all that stuff. It's a lockback, which isn't my favorite locking system, but the fact that it's in Spy 27, and it is actually a really, really good design, and because you can actually pick it up, at least at the time of this recording, I hope it's not sold out by the time this video goes up, you can pick this up for $126, making it, in my opinion, probably the most desirable version of the Native 5. That's just what I think. I'm throwing it in here. It might be cheating, but it is technically available, right? I think this is a good one. Moving on here, the Benchmade Proper in either G10 or micarta. Shown in micarta here, these come in clip point, they come in sheepsfoot, and your choice of either red G10 or green micarta. You can pick these up for 127 bucks. This is one of the best American-made slip joints I think that's out there. And, in terms of Benchmade, I think it's one of their best priced knives. A lot of their knives, I'm like, this is great, but, Benchmade does that thing where they just add, $20 to $30 to the price. Actually, I think the Proper is well worth, I think these are about 127. These are amazing. I've given this knife as a gift multiple times. It's just a really good knife. If you don't care that it doesn't have a pocket clip or you don't mind hanging a suspension clip from it, right? And you like just kind of a simple single-bladed knife. You don't need the fidget factor or anything like that. This is wonderful. I believe it actually comes with a, I can't remember. Does it come with a slip pouch or not? I honestly can't remember if it does or not. Some of these newer modern slip joints are coming with pouches. I'm honestly not sure if this one does or not. But even if it doesn't, this is one of the best buys between $100 and $150. Moving on here, I have reviewed the one you're seeing up top, and that's the Cold Steel 4 Max. That is a freaking crazy expensive knife. Those come in, depending on the variant you're picking up, whether it's the Italian variant or it's the US variant, they're like between $300 and $400. However, the Scout variant, which is made out of something different, more of your injection mold plastic or your Grivery, your FRN, whatever, but it still has the triad lock and it has that same blade profile and is undoubtedly going to be just as, or if there's a difference in durability, it's trivial. This knife, this version of this knife, comes in at $110. That's one of the best ratios between potential durability and price that I've ever seen. It is gigantic. You have to really want to carry a gigantic knife. And I mean, seriously, this is a gigantic knife. Absolutely. My, general recommendation for a really good hard use knife, in terms of the cost to durability ratio is going to be the Cold Steel American Lawman, but you'll probably see that on next week's video because that one's under $100. If you really like big knives, you really like the triad lock, you like the excess and the blade, right? And you want to get a good ratio between cost and durability and all those other things, man, at $110, yeah, the Cold Steel 4 Max. I have not specifically reviewed this lightweight version of it or this Scout version of it, but it looks like the ergonomic lines and the overall profile are the same as the original 4 Max. It's just got a different material, and then it's got a different, I think it's got a different blade material as well. I believe they're, I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not going to say it because I don't know exactly what the blade steel is, but you can check the link down in the description. But yeah, either way, this is definitely one I got to include. And then finally, one that I was kind of teetering between adding on this week's video and next week's video, but I'm going to put it here because after tax and everything, for a lot of people, it's going to be over 100. Of course, the Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive Bareknuckle in 20 CV. Listen, for a long time, this knife was $78. That was a stupid good deal. Even with this knife having gone back up or up to $100, it's still an absolutely insane deal. There just wasn't any major competition for people interested in exactly this type of knife. There wasn't any major competition in terms of the U.S. production knife world at $78. So they bumped it. I mean, it's frustrating, but I get it, right? They bumped it to $100. It's still an amazing deal. This is still one of the very best knives that's available in 20 CV in aluminum, manual flipping action, running on bearings. You can only get this at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, $100. Insane. Absolutely deserves a spot on the list. Guys, that is actually going to be it for this week's top 10 knives under $150. I hope I didn't leave anything out. It seems like there's always at least one thing that I miss. More than likely, if I didn't include a knife on the list, it's because I'm aware of it and I either haven't reviewed it or I just don't like it as much as some of these other ones, or I don't see the value nearly as much, right? So, you know, please don't be offended. But if you feel like I missed something, of course, feel free to leave it down below and I'll give you my thoughts on it. That's going to be pretty much it. Like I said, any of these knives that were interesting to you, check down in the description. There'll be links for every single one of them individually, even the ones that you can't buy and can only pre-order. If you guys enjoyed this video or at least found it entertaining, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that metal complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.